You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. Well, I got to admit, I saw this, and I do watch a lot of Joe Rogan. Kind of surprised by his take here because, well, I'll explain why I'm surprised once we go through it. But Joe Rogan is surprised that former leader of ESPN, leader of Woke Center, leader of the mothership, John Skipper, he was surprised to have learned that he of course stepped down because of a potential cocaine scandal. Well, look, Joe, I don't know many corporate jobs where you can have a coke habit and it's okay. And I'll sort of explain that. I shouldn't have to. Look, I like to watch Joe Rogan's podcast. I watch it all the time. Mainly the weightlifting and the fitness stuff and things like that. But a lot of times he's got interesting political takes too, or good takes on sports. And he had Portnoy on. Yeah, Dave Portnoy, leader of Barstool. But he was surprised that John Skipper would have resigned over a potential unveiling of a cocaine habit, which sort of baffles me. I mean, why would that surprise you in the least at all? And then he even says, well, you can't do a little coke? Well, point of fact, no, you can't, Joe Rogan. God, this is Outkick. But it's funny, you know, a lot of people, if they've never worked a corporate job of some kind, they don't sort of understand that policy is policy is policy. And the entire structure of those businesses are built off of policies, usually ones that include some kind of substance abuse issue, right? Joe Rogan was baffled when he learned this week that former ESPN boss John Skipper famously resigned in 2017 for a substance abuse problem, which turned out to be cocaine. By the way, it should be noted, the way John Skipper had run that business the last several years prior to him leaving, it was like he was doing cocaine, okay? I mean, let's just be honest, all right? He was making cokehead-like decisions around there, and it tanked their ratings, and I'll explain that. Actually, scratch that. The popular podcast host was baffled when he heard the name John Skipper at all. Speaking of Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy, Rogan learned the two truths at the same time and couldn't keep his jaw off the floor. Quote, I don't know who that is. It is odd to be around sports. I mean, I knew who John Skipper was long before I ever started talking into a mic, so that's kind of strange. I don't know who that is, Rogan said, when Portnoy, who briefly took his Barstool brand to ESPN before a pretty quick divorce. Yeah, that didn't work out much. He had to leave ESPN because of a coke dealer? Question mark. That's effing so stupid. The guy was doing coke. Yeah, Joe, you can't do coke in a corporate environment or work in a corporate environment and be a cokehead. That's something you can't do. Quote, I think in that world, you can't even admit you did coke, Rogan continued. It's a stupid world. It's a stupid world where you have to pretend to be a fake person. Yeah, but the problem is fellow employees don't want to work around a cokehead. Just being honest, Joe Rogan. I'm keeping it real. Joe Rogan stunned by John Skipper's cocaine scandal. Skipper shocked the world when he abruptly left ESPN nearly 6 years ago, citing substance abuse. He later came out and revealed that there was an extortion attempt that ultimately forced him to step away. And that things like extortion attempts are also good reasons to not get involved with doing coke. Oh. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter months after he left, Skipper said someone he bought cocaine from attempted to extort him, and that's why he resigned. In December, someone from whom I bought cocaine attempted to extort me, Skipper said in 2018 interview, quote, they threatened me and I understood immediately that threat put me and my family at risk, and this exposure would put my professional life at risk too. I foreclosed the possibility by disclosing the details to my family, and then I discussed it with Disney CEO Bob Iger. He and I agreed that I had placed the company in untenable position, and as a result, I should resign. That's exactly why you can't have a co-cabinet and work in the corporate world. Wow. Even after hearing the whole story, Rogan wasn't convinced. Jesus Christ. The guy did good work, so he likes to do a little coke, he said. 27 years at Disney, washed down the toilet for a little coke? Meanwhile, you look at the body of work that he did. Did he do a good job? Question mark. I don't know. But if I kept him effing hired for that long, I would assume he was doing good work. Effing knuckleheads. And look, I would partially agree with that statement. I would say for a long, long time, ESPN ran flawlessly. There was no politics in their programming. There was no agendas, no social agendas. And yeah, for a long time, John Skipper had that company, just churning away and killing it. But the last couple of years he worked there, he decided he wanted to leave this legacy of being ultra woke with this social justice agenda, and then he put people like Jamel Hill and Michael Smith in charge of a 6 p.m. sports center, and it became largely about social crap and politics, and that flagship sports center show became known as Woke Center, and it plummeted off a cliff in the ratings, as did a lot of their other shows. So, for lack of a better way of putting it, John Skipper was running ESPN like he had a coke habit the last couple of years. Let me just be real. And whether or not he did it that long, I don't know. But that's not the point. He wasn't making good decisions the last couple of years. And it tanked their ratings because nobody wanted to tune in for politics and for social crap and for commentary from people like Jamel Hill. And to a lesser extent, Dan Le Batard. By the way, Dan Le Batard and John Skipper, almost best friends, working together over at Meadowlark. Great. That's working out for you guys. Congratulations, and I hope John Skipper's got all that crap worked out. But no, Joe Rogan, I hate to break it to you, I worked for a couple of Fortune 500 telecommunications companies, managing in the corporate world. You know what they had? Policies against doing cocaine. Know what Disney is? A corporation where they probably got policies against doing cocaine. And it's because of things just like this. You can bring your cocaine to work with you. Literally and figuratively. Next thing you know, you're caught in an extortion issue with your coke dealer. I'm baffled. I'm baffled that Joe Rogan is baffled. That's kind of weird to me. And like I said, I'm a huge Joe Rogan guy. And you guys know that. But that's just strange. So he had a coke habit. Yeah, that's not good. You can't have that in your corporate environment. Because, to be honest, Joe, you know who your fellow employees don't want to work around? A cokehead. I mean, oh my God. All right, so that I earned Rhodes rants right there. So I ranted on that. Wow, that's just weird. How can anybody be surprised that Bob Iger said, yeah, you should resign? Yeah, you need to get your shit and get out of the building as fast as humanly possible. And because you're a cokehead, we're going to make sure that security walks next to you carrying the little cardboard box with your little shit in it that you had on your desk. Whoa. Wow. Yikes. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Should John Skipper been allowed to continue to run ESPN? Well, I mean, ESPN's woke again, but that was because even though they course corrected, everything fell off a cliff again because of George Floyd, and they're never going back. I think ESPN's brand is broken to the point that now Disney is talking about selling it off. And yeah, that's serious. That's a thing. Disney is considering selling off ABC and ESPN. Yikes. Yeah, I hadn't gotten so involved in social crap. Disney might be worth more. ESPN might be worth more. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.